it is becoming more like a short vision. ఆ షార్ట్ విజన్ ఉండకుండా ఏ పని చేసినా దాంట్లో మనకు ఒక డెవలప్మెంట్, సస్టైనబుల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ అనేది, ఒక లాంగివిటీ అనేది ఉండాలి. సో ఆ ఉద్దేశంతో ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఇప్పుడు కండక్ట్ చేస్తున్నాం ఫ్రమ్ మానవతా విశ్వ మానవతా సంస్థ. సో దీనికి కానీ మనకి ముగ్గురు ముఖ్య అతిథులు వచ్చారు. ప్రొఫెసర్ అనిల్ కుమార్ గారు, అట్లాగే సిఎస్ రామలక్ష్మి గారు అండ్ డాక్టర్ ఉమాదేవి గారు. ముగ్గురిని నేను వేదిక మీదకి ఆహ్వానిస్తున్నాను. I request Anil Kumar sir, Ramlakshmi ma'am and Umadevi sir onto the dais. Before we start the program, I would like to invite the speakers with bouquets. I request Sirisha to present a bouquet to Ramlakshmi ma'am. I request Naresh to present a bouquet to Anil Kumar sir. I request Chaitanya to present a bouquet to Umadevi ma'am. Important people పిలిచాక మధ్యలో మనం ఉండకూడదు. We need to listen to those people. కాబట్టి వాళ్ళ ఇన్సైట్ అనేది చాలా ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది, దాని యొక్క నాలెడ్జ్ అనేది మనం తీసుకోవాలి. So I will be handing over the session to the speakers. First speaker will be Umadevi garu. Before I hand over the mic to Umadevi garu, I request Mr. Jia to present the introduction of Umadevi garu. Please.
Namaskaram. Nice to be here. My privilege actually to talk about your week. I'm not sure if I can do justice, but I'll read it for the purpose of all of us to know, and I'm sure there are a lot of insights that we can understand. Dr. Umadevi garu, principal scientist and social science director of Water Technology Center, professor at Jaishankar Telangana State Agriculture University, Rajendra Hyderabad. She has 22 years of research and teaching experience to undergraduate, postgraduate, and PhD students at the College of Agriculture. And also a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna and follower of naturopathy. So you can see, I think everybody is related to the nature. Why sustainability is more important, I'm sure with the biodiversity itself we can talk about. She is also a general secretary to Sri Sarada Vidya Seva Samiti, a voluntary organization with an objective to serve financially poor students and help personality development to urban youth. So we welcome Umadevi.
Respected Anil Kumar sir, Ramlakshmi madam, and Mahadev and my colleagues and other participants of the present program. Because I am having some other program in the evening, then I requested so little bit keep my portion ahead. So that's why otherwise actually my name could have been at the end. So there was a clash, then I requested. My introduction, I would like to share with you. I don't know, people from different disciplines might be here. So basically, I am a soil scientist. So I would like to focus on the management practices that are useful for maintaining the sustainability in agriculture. For my colleagues, it is a simple topic. But I hope that that will throw some light on important management practices which generally the farmers follow for maintaining the sustainability in agriculture. And I would like to know how much time Mr. Mahadev is giving to me. Within that frame only I will go. 10 minutes? 10 to 15 minutes. And I request Lita Madam to just remind me at time. Because just 15 minutes. I would like to share with you my introduction to Manavata Ashramam. It was quite accidental when for a program with Natavali village about their Manavata Ashramam. They invited the Ramakrishna Swamiji for that program as the chief guest. But as the Math could not spare Swamiji's during that time because of some other busy schedule, then I was requested to represent the Ramakrishna Math. So not as a scientist but as a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, then I visited that 60 acres of Manavata Ashramam there in Natavali village. Then actually I am being a soil scientist and agriculturist. Then I was very much impressed by the different activities that are being taken up in Manavata Ashramam. Then I continued afterwards again I still continued interaction with that organization. And also I took the photographs and I keep on sharing with my friends, whomever, because I was very much impressed with the activities that are going on there. And coming to the conference topic, sustainability. So, can anyone define sustainability? What does it mean, sustainability? Anyone in your own language, either Telugu or English or whatever. I would like to know. Anybody? What is sustainability? We prefer a job, some job, and at the time of taking up that job, we look into that job whether that job can sustain our life till the end. Till the end of our life, whether we will be able to get sufficient income from that particular job. Is it not? So similarly, sustainability means not only meeting the requirement of today but also the future. Coming to the agricultural practices, the sustainability means it not only meeting the requirement of the today's requirement but also the future generation. We have taken the land from our ancestors and our lifespan is very limited when compared to the earth. So it takes thousands of years for formation of the soil. And it is going to sustain the livelihood of people ahead, not only our own. Our lifespan is very little, hardly, if we totally maintain our health, hardly 100 years. And nearly it has gone to 0.6 to 0.7 only compared to the unity. So, not only the aim of the sustainability is not the maximization of the productivity. It aims in meeting the today's requirement but also maintain the health of the system so that our future generation also will be able to harvest how we have harvested the things from the same piece of the land. I remember here in this case, one of my colleagues' daughter is working in some IT company and he was happily telling that, madam, in that company for every 1 hour they will provide the tea freely. Every 1 hour they provide the tea freely. Are they really interested in your daughter's health? They want to extract as much as possible from your daughter. Suppose they are working for 8 hours, means 8 times speed. Is it recommended? Are they really their well-wishers? No, I felt that no. Very soon they are not interested in long-term health, sustainability of that particular person's health. They are not interested. They work for 2 or 3 years. Before that, within that time, they want to extract as much as that is possible. Similarly, in agriculture also, the modern agriculture aims in not in maximization of the yield or like that, but optimization of the yields so that the farmer will be able to take care of his livelihood as well as maintain the health of the system for the future requirement. So it is not a new system. From the age-old, farmers are maintaining the soil health. Actually, the present generation is spoiling the system more. So what are the traditional not only introducing new technologies, but also preserving of the age-old practices which help in keeping the health of the soil. Basically, I am a soil scientist. So now in this particular session, I would like to focus on some of the important management practices that the farmers are following for maintaining the sustainability of the system or the soil health. So the farmers may not be knowing the scientific reason behind it. Why that particular package or practice is good for the soil or good for the crop. They may not be able to define the reason what physical process or the chemical process or the biological process that is responsible for resulting in the goodness. But they, because of their experience and what they have learned from their parents or based on their own experience, they will be knowing in that particular circumstances, in that particular local conditions, that particular practice is very good. Like that. And similarly, the farmers, suppose if we want to buy a plot, we will see how near it is to market, how it is near, like that we will have certain indicators for deciding the value of a particular plot. Similarly, farmer also his own criteria for identifying the quality parameters of the soil. So what are those soil parameters which the farmer will take care of the things? By seeing the color of the soil, one of the which easily anyone can make out. By knowing the soil color, he will be able to come to some conclusion whether that is a fertile soil or by touching the soil, by taking the soil, by feeding the sand, silt, clay percentage, the fineness of the soil, and also water holding capacity of the soil, and also by smelling, and also the earthworm population. So, and also it's by seeing general growth of the crops. By seeing the field, we can make out how vigorous the crop growth is. By seeing the growth of the weeds, growth of the crops, etc., he will be able to assess the quality of the soil. So, farmer has got his own criteria for assessing the quality of the soils. And in that, these are the some of the soil, like color of the soil, texture of the soil, water holding capacity of the soil, like the physical, chemical, and biological. These are the basically we can divide the indicators into three types. Color of the soil, texture of the soil, water holding capacity of the soil, etc. will come under root depth, rooting depth, etc. They will come under physical parameters. And then coming to the chemical parameters like the availability of the nutrients, the pH of the soil, EC of the soil, as well as the organic matter content of the soil, and the ability of the soil, like nutrient supplying capacity, is that will come under the soil chemical parameters. And the biological population, biodiversity. How not only having the population of the more population of the organisms, both macro and micro, but also the quantity, both higher, and also the diversity, not only the quantity, the diversity. Diversified able to sustain the diversified population is considered as that it is one of the fertility criteria. So biodiversity is also one of the very important criteria in deciding the quality of the soil. So regarding these practices, what are the, and also the farmers, a good farmer will not only interested in only maintaining about the soil fertility, he will have a holistic approach. Holistic approach means entire thing, both physical, chemical, and biological parameters he would like to improve, whatever the package of practices. So based on that, certain age-old practices I would like to inform today. The practices that the farmers will be commonly following. One was this animal manures and compost. Addition of the animal manures and compost. Here the role of livestock. మనం మామూలుగా తెలుగులో చెప్పుకోవాలంటే అవి లేకపోతే వ్యవసాయం లేదు. Without livestock, you can't imagine the agriculture. Productive agriculture or the sustainable agriculture. Without the livestock, you can't expect any sustainability in agricultural system. అది లేకపోతే ఇది లేదు. So that is the simplest definition that we can give. That indicates the importance of the livestock. So livestock will meet the different kind of requirements of the farmer by providing the milk or by helping in cultivation practices like plowing, etc. But also it helps in providing the manure. As in Manavata Ashramam, I have seen there they are harvesting the dung, the urine, everything, and they are making Jivamrita there. I have seen there the photographs, I think, the we will be able to show you how it is Amrutam. So, for the plants it is Amrutam. So, I have seen in Manavata Ashram there, without the animal component, you can't imagine any agriculture in a similar way. You have to harvest every part. They are fermenting it for 4 days by adding some jaggery and as well as some Shankapindi. So that Bengal flour and then urine and then by mixing that for 4 days, after that they are diluting it and spraying to the crops. Without using any inorganic fertilizers, they are able to, the plants they are able to grow, and they are growing chilies and then vendi, like that brinjal, different vegetables also they are growing, and very good crop. And several farmers are there in the country distributed in different parts following the organic farming, the basic principles of the organic farming. So that way they are able to doing service. Really, that is a greatest service we can say. A farmer growing the crops without using the pesticides, etc., and supplying to the general public. I think that is the biggest service anyone can do. So that is what I have found in Manavata Ashrama, where I have seen, and I was very much convinced with that. And that is the animal component, using the animal manures and compost. Wherever there is dung and urine is available, including that, along with some crop residues, there will be production of lot of crop residues in the agriculture system. By combining all of them, the manure can be made. Every farmer knows the importance of manure. Every farmer knows. If he has the animals, he will make his own manure. And if he is not having the animal components, nowadays mechanization has become very common. Farmers are not sparing time for maintaining the animals, and then that's why they are buying the farm equipment. So either they will make or they will buy, but they are not hesitating to spend on the farm equipment. Suppose if I go to Karimnagar district or Nizamabad district where etc. They spend lot of amount on farm equipment. Even I have seen in Medak district where the farmers grow many of the vegetables, potato, etc. They know that for the without organic manures they can't get any yield. Just by depending on the chemical fertilizers, they can't get the produce satisfactory. So wherever the root crops are growing, especially, definitely the farmers are growing, and commercial crops are the spices or the vegetables, any crop. So farmers, every farmer knows, and in every village, suppose if it is a village, definitely here and there you will see the compost sites. They might be doing scientifically, or they might be simply doing without any systematic procedure, just they might be dumping. But whatever with the baby, if you are doing it in a layer wise, you will get more nourishment, it contains more nutrients. And if it is done without any systematic procedure, some of the nutrients may be lost because of the waterization or by the leaching. But manure plays a very, very important role. In that again, we have the like the cattle manure, or there are so many things. Sheep penning, farmers pay. I think the plants can be switched on unless they are making for. So much of knowledge. Not necessary. So coming to the animal component, you can list out many. Whatever, there is no strict rule that only we have to use this or that. If the cattle is available, cattle, and if the sheep is available, of all the animal manure, sheep manure is the richest manure. And that is why it has become a common practice of penning with the sheep. Farmers pay nearly 1,000 rupees per acre like that. They pay and allow the shepherds to allow them in the night and feed on their fields, so that everything can be left on, all the residues can be left on the field. And poultry, and even the pig, and even the night soil also. And one of the women farmer, she was using night soil for her chili crop, and she was harvesting excellent crop. She was not using any, she was not spending on any inorganic manures. She was simply, but because of the resistance, people may think that night soil, what kind of, so that's why she was keeping it as a secret for 3 years. She maintained, but her chilies was known for her quality. The quality. People were preferring to buy it, but over a period of time, slowly the message leaked, and afterwards the surrounding farmers also started using the night soil as the manure. So if it is everything, if it is properly decomposed and properly used, any waste material from the animal component can be used as a manure. That will help in reducing the cost of the inorganic fertilizers. So of all the entire list of important package of practices for maintaining the soil health, the first component is using the animal manures, and then the second one is vermicompost. The next among the animal manures, the most nowadays the most common is becoming is vermicomposting. So earthworms. So suppose our body weight is 50 kgs. We can't eat 50 kg food, is it not? Hardly we maintain 300 to 400 grams per a time, so that multiplied 3 times. Whereas these worms, earthworms having 0.5 to 0.6 grams weight, they will be able to take equal to their body weight to around 9 times also. They can take that much food, and then they will be able to inside, they will be able to process that and that produce, suppose 1000 tons of organic matter, they will be able to produce nearly 300 tons of the vermicompost, which is not only having the nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, but also plant growth promoting hormones and actinomycetes, etc. The useful microorganisms will be several times more in the vermicompost. They are nothing but excreta of the earthworms, but after processing through its digestive system, its qualities are very much improved, and it will be able to help the crop. But not only the crop quality will be good, but also the soil. And wherever you apply earthworms, vermicompost, it will also have the eggs of the earthworms. So automatically the earthworms population will increase in the field. Suppose a mango tree is there, you apply 1 kilo of the vermicompost there. Afterwards, whatever the earthworm population will increase surrounding the particular tree, and afterwards there is no need of adding any vermicompost also, because they themselves will be preparing the vermicompost surrounding the roots of the trees. So like that, even nowadays in the apartments, etc., wherever we are there, the vermicomposting and it is handling also very easy. But the only thing is, of course, it requires water, etc., and